Good evening, I'm Jason Vio. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for watching. A few loud bangs could be heard right across the city today. Hundreds of people took to Facebook sharing where they were when it happened and wondering what it was. The CBC's Jacob Barker brings us reaction and some answers.
People in Windsor were feeling rattled on Friday, quite literally. Several loud bangs were heard and felt across the city. It all had to do with Windsor police training that was happening here in Windsor's West End. But for some, the messaging that came out about that activity was a little too late. Hundreds of messages appeared almost immediately on a local Facebook group. People all over the city felt and heard the booms, even in Tecumseh and LaSalle. This guy was out on a job in Walkerville when he felt it.
I was on the other side of Erie Street at a house on Marion, and I heard about four times. It sounded like a big truck or something dropping something.
What do you think of that, the fact that the sound traveled that far?
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
In the West End itself, the feeling was magnified.
I was pretty alarmed. It was quite loud. And you could hear it distinctively. I can't imagine what they were letting off there.
Living in the area of Tilston Armory, which is a training facility for the Windsor Police, residents here do often hear noise associated with training, but today's was different, according to this resident.
I've lived here, almost 50 years. I've never heard anything like that before.
Our cameras caught the sound of a second boom going off near Tilston. It was after that police sent out a statement on social media warning people of an increased police presence in Windsor's West End. Sudden loud sounds or vibrations may be felt in the area, and that there is no risk to public safety. Online and in person, people say they would have appreciated a little more warning.
I was pretty alarmed. It was quite loud. And you could hear it distinctively, right?
Yeah.
You know.
In an email, police did clarify that the training exercises did include the use of some explosives, but they wouldn't say the exact location or nature of the training that they were doing. They did, however, say they would be reviewing their procedures to ensure they were providing clear and timely communication in the future. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Windsor.
A new report is shedding more light on the conditions temporary foreign workers face here in Canada. As the CBC's Dawson Chen reports from Leamington, some are pushing for change.
Temporary foreign workers need open work permits and better housing. That's among the findings of a new report that examines how well Canada is implementing international labor guidelines for decent working conditions. Here at the Leamington offices of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, one of the authors of the report is urging change. Rayluka Bejan is a professor of social work at Dalhousie University. She says the current system leaves temporary foreign workers feeling unable to raise issues with employers.
Basically, we have found that although migrants, in theory, right, they have some rights on paper, these rights are not respected in practice. And this is primarily due to the fact that their work contracts and their visas in Canada are tied to their employers.
Bejan was among the researchers of 3 Canadian universities who worked on the new report. They studied more than 200 academic reports of the agriculture, meatpacking, and seafood processing sectors of Ontario, Alberta, and New Brunswick. Amongst seasonal agricultural workers, Bejan says the report found how they're being housed is the greatest cause for concern.
Most research points to the fact that workers are living in overcrowded accommodations, in very poor housing stock.
Antonio Reyes is a Guatemalan citizen who has been coming to Essex County as a temporary foreign worker since 2019. Speaking through translator Jose Ramon, Reyes said he's used to working 14 hours a day for a greenhouse company.
Bueno, sí, a veces sí es cansado, te estresas, estrés.
He's got a lot of stress and very tired.
Bejan says she knows the report's findings aren't revelations, but she's hoping it adds to the evidence that things need to change.
Our first recommendation is open work permits. Our report has also identified union organizing as a best practice. As a country, if we think we have the right to extract labor from somewhere else, we also have the obligation to provide certain protections to the workers that come here.
Dawson Chen, CBC News, Leamington.
Riley, a wet start to the day, but a pretty nice finish to the day, though.
Yeah, you know what, Jason? That sets us up for actually a pretty decent Saturday on the way. But what you see behind me is maybe a bit of foreshadowing. Special weather statement in place further north, including London, Kitchener, into the GTA. This is because of another system that will push across southern Ontario as we get through the weekend here, bringing some rain and even some snow in some cases. So we did get some clearing in behind that. 2 degrees overnight tonight. And we'll start sunny tomorrow, Jason, 8 degrees. I'll have more on that potential snowstorm coming up.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
An economic surprise in the midst of the trade war with the U.S. Canada's job numbers have exceeded economists' expectations for a second straight month. The CBC's Jennifer Lagrassa takes us through the numbers.
Canada actually gained more jobs than expected. For the second month in a row, job numbers are up. Now, I will say job numbers can be quite volatile. So when you're looking at these, economists warn that taken alone, they don't always paint the most accurate picture. But let's dive into the numbers. So in October, Stats Canada says there was an increase of 67,000 jobs. Many of these jobs are part-time roles, and many were in Ontario. Another positive key measure here, unemployment rate dipped. It's now sitting at 6.9%. That's from 7.1%. One economist says that while this is trending in the right direction, it's still not great.
It is still quite high relative to where we'd like to see it. It still indicates that there's slack in the labor market. We wouldn't characterize it as good. It's just better than we thought it would have been.
He expects that the unemployment rate will gradually fall next year as things maybe turn a corner, specifically with the trade war with the United States. Here in southwestern Ontario, Windsor, Canada's automotive city, has been hard hit by that trade tension. High unemployment is what it's seen. In June, that was at 11.2%. That has now fallen to 9.6%. Here's Windsor's mayor on this.
The things we can control, we're doing really, really well. But I know it's hard because it's hard for families when they go to the grocery store and they see prices going up because of the trade war.
Now, between September and October, the Canadian economy gained more than 125,000 jobs, and those have offset the losses we saw in the summer. The sectors where we saw this growth are wholesale and retail trade, as well as transportation and warehousing. There was also a small increase in manufacturing jobs, and that comes after we saw huge growth in that sector in September. Because of how volatile job numbers are, it's still too early to say whether they are a sign of some stability. But many economists say that following this report, the Bank of Canada will likely hold the interest rate steady at its next meeting in December. Jennifer Lagrassa, CBC News, Windsor, Ontario.
The city is looking at taking a closer look at Peche Island and ways to protect it in the future. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens issued a decision under the Strong Mayor legislation directing administration to look into options for protecting the waterways on Peche Island.
I want to see what it would take to actually excavate the dirt from that area to make sure water can flow, because if water can't get in there, those inland ponds will eventually turn into wetlands. And if Council of the Day future moving forward decides they actually want to make a change and bring the ponds back to life, they probably will have a very difficult time doing that unless Mother Nature is on their side. And so I just want to report so Council can understand what it would take to make a proactive investment to keep Peche Island and the inland canals alive.
Dilkens also asked administration to consult with others about ways to elevate parts of the city-owned island to make for a pedestrian circuit right around it. Dilkens has asked administration to report back to City Council by the end of this year. The Carney government has survived another confidence vote as Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives struggle to stay united. Today wraps up a dramatic week on Parliament Hill. Kate McKenna explains.
Yeas pour 30-30, nays contre 307-307.
The Carney Liberals survived a second confidence vote on budget amendments in 2 days, meaning no election for now. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre weren't even there.
The Prime Minister is actually just a block away right now.
Both were speaking in Toronto, promoting their post-budget messages.
We will also build local infrastructure. That means new hospitals, transit, recreational facilities, art centers.
Our approach had been to demand an affordable budget so people could afford their lives. We didn't get that.
In the last election. But on Parliament Hill, Conservatives sought to turn the page on a rough week.
We're going to stay focused on what matters to Canadians.
One MP, Chris D'Entremont, crossed the floor to the Liberals. Another, Matt Genereux, says he plans to resign his seat.
Mark Carney did not receive a majority mandate from Canadian voters, yet he's trying to cobble together a majority through undemocratic means with backroom deals and pressure tactics.
Before Genereux resigned, sources say he met with the Prime Minister. And when Conservatives feared he too could cross the floor, they pressured him not to. All this hours before his surprise resignation.
It's really disheartening and disappointing to see that he's resigned. And I think there's a lot of questions that need to be asked to the Conservatives.
It must have been pretty damn nasty for him to go from being a newly re-elected Conservative MP to I'm not sitting here anymore.
Genereux denies that he was coerced into leaving, saying he wishes Pierre Poilievre the best, but his caucus is set to have 2 fewer members than it did at the beginning of the week. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Hundreds of flights within the United States are being canceled, and the situation could get worse. It's because of the government shutdown there that's forced air traffic controllers to work without pay for more than a month. The CBC's Julia Wong is in an airport in Florida with this update.
It may seem like business as usual at this Florida airport, but travelers who we talk to say they're frustrated by the flight cuts. At the 40 busiest airports in the United States, including where we are right now at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, flights are being canceled, starting at 4% today, ramping up to 10% by next Friday, with the possibility of that growing if this U.S. government shutdown continues. Now, these cuts are meant to ease the strain, relieve some of the pressure on air traffic controllers who have been working for weeks without pay and who have been struggling through vacancies. Hundreds of flights from coast to coast in this country are being impacted, and travelers we talk to have made contingency plans and are angry about the flight disruptions.
People would be in serious danger if they keep up this garbage. You know, it's not just me. I'm going home and I'm staying.
I'm going to go home and not book any more flights.
Is that because you're worried about getting stranded somewhere?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I travel a lot, so, getting stranded is every now and again is part of traveling, but it's going to be tough for travelers over the next few weeks.
We were supposed to fly out tomorrow, and so we're leaving early to make sure we get home, if we hopefully get home.
CBC News caught up with U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy at Reagan International Airport in Washington, D.C. Duffy says he's appreciative of what air traffic controllers do, and then he put it on the Democrats to end the government shutdown so travel volumes can get back to normal.
I'm grateful for them, but I also see there's more pressure on them. And so I'm trying to reduce their pressure and make sure we keep the airspace safe. Any end in sight? That's a question for Democrats. If Democrats are going to go home this weekend and they've kept the government shut down, that's shameful.
Duffy says, generally speaking, international flights should not be affected. But where things could get tricky for Canadians is if they have a connecting flight in the United States with a partner airline. Now, all of this could not come at a worse time. The U.S. is heading into one of its busiest travel seasons, with American Thanksgiving less than 3 weeks away. Julia Wong, CBC News, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And the Detroit Metro Airport that many of us on this side of the border use is one of the airports that will see reduced flights. Valente Travel here in Windsor says it's fielding many calls from worried clients. So far, the travel agency says it's not being impacted, but adds it's on pins and needles waiting to see how the situation progresses. Well, have you ever seen a white squirrel? Although they're considered rare, there have been a number of sightings locally, and this one here was captured in Essex County by John Bondi. Bondi says he has been seeing the white squirrel around his yard, so he set up a GoPro camera on the fence beside a handful of sunflower seeds, and that seems to have done the trick. The white squirrel is actually a genetic anomaly due to a mutated gene from the common gray squirrel, and it's called leucism, which is a condition characterized by reduced pigmentation. A live look outside at downtown Windsor. We'll have a full look at your weather forecast coming up later in the show, including some snow that's on the horizon in certain parts of the province. But coming up right after the break, we'll have more news for you. Stay with us. A new kind of grocery store in Quebec is promising big savings at a time when food prices keep rising. The low-cost chain sells discounted items sometimes past their best before dates, and shoppers say the deals are hard to beat. The CBC's Gabriel Gindi went to check it out.
I'm at a type of grocery store that's gaining a lot of momentum. It sells discounted items, and people shopping here say they're saving a lot of money.
I spent 52 days, and if I would have bought it everywhere else, probably $150.
The food is sourced through distributors and manufacturers, so products that are mislabeled or can't be sold in regular grocery stores end up here, like this beef that was supposed to go to a restaurant. It's sold at a discount, making prices more affordable. Another reason for why prices are so cheap is because they sell items that are near or past their best before date.
Best before is almost more of a recommendation about marketing, whereas expiry for something like a meat product is, about the safety of consuming that food.
Experts say the stigma around low-cost stores like this one seems to be shifting.
Years ago, there was a bit of a negative stigma in being a bargain hunter, but nowadays, lots of people shop at these retail locations.
Just 5 years ago, people are looking, no, I'm not touching the box because it's expired. Now, because of the economy, people are, oh, you know what, it's 88 cents. I'm gonna try it.
As for Liquidation Marie, business is booming. In 13 years, they have 8 locations and plan to expand to 10 locations within the next year.
As a company grows, there's usually added cost of distribution, transport, HR, you name it, and those costs tend to be passed on to consumers.
But while expansion comes with its own set of challenges, this type of store and the products they sell at a cheaper price are clearly in demand. Gabriel Gindi, CBC News, Longueuil.
The 2026 Grammy nominations have been revealed. Kendrick Lamar, Bad Bunny, and Lady Gaga are leading the pack in nominations. There's also a strong showing by some of Canada's biggest artists, including pop icon Justin Bieber and Tate McRae. Magda Gaberselassie has those details.
You've got the Grammys showing love to Kendrick, K-pop, and some Canadians. After taking home lots of hardware earlier this year, Kendrick Lamar takes the top spot for nominations with 9, including Album of the Year, and this track, Luther, is up for Record and Song of the Year. In the second spot for most nominations, you have Lady Gaga with her album Mayhem and some of its tracks getting some recognition. You also have Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, Leon Thomas getting a lot of nominations as well. Now turning to a specific genre, K-pop. The movie K-pop Demon Hunters was a massive hit this summer, and so is the music from the fictional band. The song Golden has received several nominations, including Song of the Year.
This is a huge moment for K-pop, for sure. And the only place that they were forecasted to get a nomination for Golden that they didn't was Record of the Year, where they would have made history being the first K-pop group to get in that category.
Sticking with the genre, Rosé, who's from the K-pop girl group Blackpink, is also a hit as a solo artist. This track with Bruno Mars got her some nominations. Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Throwing petals like, do you love me enough? Canadians getting a lot of love too, including Justin Bieber, who is back with his Swag album. He's got 4 nominations. Drake has 1 nomination for Best Melodic Rap Performance for the song Somebody Loves Me with Party Next Door. And Tate McRae has her first Grammy nominations. Now the wait is on to see who will take home the hardware. The Grammys show airs on Sunday, February 1st. Magda Gaberselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
And still to come here on CBC Windsor News at 6, Riley is standing by with a full look at weather. That's coming up right after the break. Time now for a full look at weather. Riley joins us live to talk about that. Riley, I took the kids to school this morning and it was wet and cold and rainy. It was coming down almost sideways. Like it was not a fun time.
Yeah, a very miserable morning. That was the first clipper that moved through. The second one may not be as nice as you thought that perhaps was. So
yeah, it got better.
Sorry. Yeah, we got that one through. One down, one more to go as we get through the weekend here. You know what? In behind that, temperature is actually pretty decent. Still at 13 degrees in Windsor, 12 in Sarnia, London's at 10 degrees. So once that pushed through, it shaped up to be not an actual bad day out there. A bit of sunshine, still a bit of cloud hanging around. And as that front passed through, actually triggering some thunderstorms south of the border. But it's back to what's happening here over Saskatchewan and Alberta I want you to pay attention to. This is clipper number 2 that pushes through as we get through the weekend, packing a bit of a punch, as you saw earlier with that special weather statement, the potential for some snow. Now, this does take the scenic route around. It's following the jet stream down through the Midwest, so it comes up more southerly as we get through Saturday into Sunday here. You can see cloud building in through Saturday, bit of showers late evening into the overnight hours, but once we get early into Sunday morning, that's when we start to see the leading edge of this. And there's not a lot of confidence still with the forecast modeling on the exact track, the exact timing, or the exact strength of what's coming. So there's still a bit of play here. At least the forecast model I'm showing you right now has been pushing this system a little bit further south throughout the day. And what that will mean is a little bit more of a snow event as we get through Sunday into Windsor, for example. But some of the other forecast models have this tracking close to the 401, which would leave Windsor, Leamington into more of a rain event, for example. So there is a little bit of play, but this is what I'm working with right now. Basically anywhere north of the 401, north of London, seeing predominantly a snow event as we get through the day on Sunday. Along the 401 into the GTA, this is more of a rain-snow mix, so there'll be periods of rain and snow. And then down into southwestern Ontario, right now I've got this as predominantly a rain event, but I do think this does start to slip a little bit further south here. So we may be into some mixing or some light snow even as we get into the day on Sunday. All this to say there is still a little bit of play on what exactly happens, but this is just the best guidance I have for you right now. First thing in the morning, 4 degrees in Windsor, 4 in Chatham-Kent, 5 in Leamington. We'll try for 8 tomorrow, Jason. Temperatures close to 3 degrees through Sunday into Monday with that messy mix coming, and then another chance of showers as we get through into Wednesday.
All right, quite the mess this weekend
Yes.
if we're heading up the 401. Thanks so much, Riley. That's
Welcome.
it for us here at CBC. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday.
Good night.